Guys, we have got the brand new EasyRun Max6 G2 200 amp 6S 8S ESC and the EasyRun 4990 1650 kV censored brushless motor on the bench today. And I am really excited for this because if these things turn out to be any good, this could be the best overkill 6S system or lightweight 8S system in existence right now. Let's take a closer look. ESC is very similar in size and shape to the original Max6 ESC. We have the sensor cable coming out the front, we've got bare leads coming out the back, and we've got this new switch here, which actually has Bluetooth connection in it. If you look on here, it appears as though this does not have a programming port on it. I find that a little bit disconcerting. That means it appears right now as though the only way you're gonna be able to program this ESC is through Bluetooth, and that makes me a little bit nervous because their Bluetooth programming hasn't been the most reliable in the world. I guess we're just gonna have to find out how good it really is coming up. To go along with that, we've got some VHB, some heat shrink tubing, and a couple of zip ties, and then the manual. Now this is the new 4990 1650 kV motor. This thing is an absolute beast of a motor for a 6S application and should be fantastic for lightweight 8S applications. Now we are not going to be putting this in a lightweight application. Make sure you stay tuned to see what this thing ends up going in for testing. Before we do that though, let's take a look inside and see how this is put together. All right, taking this front end bell off, we can see that we have a sealed bearing in here. These G2 motors are actually the only motors I know of that are actually genuinely sealed. You can see there's an O-ring on that end bell as well. That's a really nice feature, especially if you're going to be getting these things wet. All right, guys, this back is on really tight. I'm unable to take it off and I don't want to force it and break it, but this will have the same sensor system as the 1250 kV 5690 motor that I took apart previously. So go check out that video if you want to see what's inside this. Let's get this back together. Taking a quick look at the instructions, we can see what's programmable on here. We've got an 8.4 volt BEC, which is a nice, powerful BEC. This also does data logging, just like the other G2 ESCs do. Now, I am correct. The only programming method on here is going to be through that Bluetooth transmitter, and that makes me a little bit nervous, but we'll just have to see how reliable it is. Now, like I said, we're not going to be putting this in some small 6S 1/8 scale truck. We're going to put it in this absolutely awesome overkill 8S Outcast. This truck is too big and too heavy for this combo, but if it can survive this, it can survive just about any application. Before we do that, we got to get this Max 5 out of here. Coming up soon, I'm going to be giving away one of my custom modified ultimate RC electric screwdrivers. Make sure you get subscribed so you don't miss that. Appropriately sized Max 5 is out of there. Let's get the Max 6 combo in here. What do you think? Do you think it's going to be able to handle this over 30-pound truck? Let me know down in the comments what your predictions are. For quick comparison, here's the 5690 that was in there, and here's the little 4990 that's going in. Hopefully this thing can handle the pressure. These wires will come with lead-free solder on them. To make soldering easier, add a little bit of leaded solder to it. It'll lower that melting point and make the connection a lot easier to make. And that's what your connection should look like, a nice, clean, solid blob of shiny solder. QS8's on, let's get this in the truck. I didn't realize my motor mount didn't have the right screw holes, so a couple minutes on the drill press, and now we've got a custom mount. Because we don't have Max 6 holes on this M2C racing plate, we're going to have to use the included double-sided tape. This double-sided tape works really well if you do two things. The first one is clean both of these very well with a high IPA percentage alcohol and a clean paper towel. You want to let that alcohol flash off for a minute. Make sure you put this where you want because you only get one shot at this. Now, just press down firmly for about 30 seconds, and then the most important thing you want to do is leave this alone. Let it sit for several hours before you use it. The VHB does get stronger over time, and if you go straight out and start bashing as soon as you put it in, it's probably going to fail. If you leave it overnight, that stuff's going to stay stuck on there and is not going to go anywhere. Installation is done, and this thing definitely looks minuscule compared to the Max 5 that came out of there. Let's take a quick look at programming. The only way we can program this ESC is through the Hobbywing Link program, so we'll go ahead and open that now. Make sure that the ESC is powered on. Click the connect button. Choose the Hobbywing ESC. It may ask for a password. The default password is all 8s. And then once we've connected, we can go into parameters. And then we can change whatever parameters we need to. And here, I want my BEC to be 7.4 volts. I want my motor rotation to be counterclockwise. You can check brake force, punch, drag brake, all sorts of different settings in here. You can also go in and look at the data log. Don't have a whole lot going on in the data log here, but you can see the temperatures, motor RPM, max current, that sort of thing. And we can update the firmware if there is an updated firmware available. This one is already on the current version. Once you're done making your changes, make sure you hit the save button up here. That will send the programming to the ESC. And then when you're done, you can disconnect and the ESC will reset. All right, guys, this thing's all ready to go. Let's go bash. All right, first of all, let's check out top speed with this little combo in here. She's pretty quick. One more pass. All right, that's about top speed. Let's bring it in check. 48 miles an hour. That is not bad for a combo that's too small for this truck. Sometimes in bashing, things don't go according to plan, and this is one of those times. Let me explain. The footage you just saw was actually my second time taking this truck out. My first recording just didn't work, so I took it out a second time, and this time, unfortunately, I shattered the teeth on this gear and I broke the shaft on the motor. Now, I don't blame this motor or ESC at all for this. This gear was already pretty torn up and I was ignoring the warning signs of impending failure. And when you break teeth on a gear, they jam up and you will often break the shaft. That being said, I did run almost 2 full packs through this and I got temperature readings throughout, and the temperature readings were actually very impressive for this huge car. This thing did almost 50 miles an hour. The ESC stayed nice and cool. The motor never got over around 190 degrees, which is pretty hot, but keep in mind this didn't even have a fan on it. I've also gone and programmed this ESC a few times, and so far everything's working just fine on it. Now, I am going to be getting a replacement for this motor, and as soon as I get the new 6S Big Rock, I'm going to be putting this combo in there and reviewing it in that truck. I think this is going to be a perfect setup for that truck. So who is this Max6 G2 and 4990 combo for? Well, if you've got a big 1/8 scale or 1/7 scale vehicle, this will be a perfect combo for you. If you're running an X-Max, you could probably get away with this, though I would recommend getting the larger 1250 kV motor. But this ESC is 200 amps. It's got all the features that you need. It's basically as powerful as the original Max 5 was. The only problem I have with it is that you do have to use Bluetooth in order to program it. I find that a little bit disconcerting because if for some reason your phone's not working or for some reason their Bluetooth isn't working, you're not going to be able to program this ESC. I've had enough problems with this Bluetooth programmer on my own that it really does make me hesitate to recommend this system. Let me know what you think about that down in the comments. Will only being able to program this through Bluetooth prevent you from wanting to get this ESC, or do you not care and you're going to get it anyway? Let me know what you think, and once you're done, check out this video.